Hello everyone, in this video I want to make a little template to make cutout style drawer pulls. So to show you what I mean, let me just grab the camera. When I redid all of this last summer, I've just obviously put holes in. When I did these first three, I kind of elongated those holes, and I don't mind that style. These ones are just drilled with a Forstner bit, and then they've got a little, can't really tell, but they've got a little round over on them. And I don't mind it, but it slightly triggers my trypophobia a little bit. And also I just look at them and I kind of wish I'd spent more time and done them in a different style. And that style is more like this, with the kind of slot at the top, but with the kind of diagonal wings on the side of the slot. This is the first ever set of drawers I made, and it was just a quick bit of storage for inside this cupboard, and I freehanded everything. There was no templates here. I've done a terrible job, so don't judge me on it. Like I say, first drawers I ever made. But, and also I think that the kind of vertical distance, the gap is a bit too much on these. I don't need that much. So yeah, not exactly the same as that, but something similar to that, because I do wish that I'd taken the time to do that properly with these. I don't immediately have any drawers I'm making at the moment, but I just want to get this template made. Right, so I grabbed an offcut of MDF from the table saw sled I made, because it's nice and stable and the edges should route quite nicely for a template and smoothly. I'm just going to measure my hand. So at my kind of widest point of my hand, these calipers are saying it's about 29 mils for my hand, so let's call it 30. So the opening, vertical opening, needs to be about 30, and then the width of my hand is about 88, so let's call it 90 mils for, this will be the flat bit of the template before we get to the diagonal wings. So about 90 by 30 plus the extra kind of diagonal bits on the end. Now, the thing about this template is, because it's a template and because I'm going to use it for everything, I want it to be as perfect as I can get it. What I'm going to do is kind of make a template for the template. I'm going to make half of it and then use that half flipped to make the full template on the router. And also what I'll do is I'll make the flat bit long enough that I can make future templates any size, because on the smaller ones of these drawers, if I could do that 30 mil, that's going to be about half of the height of that. Plus I'd like to fit it between the pocket screws if I use pocket screw construction on drawers in the future. So having a kind of half template that I can then use to make any size template I like is quite a handy thing. Now obviously this would be an absolute doddle if I had a 3D printer or a CNC or a laser. I don't have any of those things. I could easily pay someone to make me a little template, but where's the fun in that? I want to do this myself. So yeah, let's see if I can get this perfect. Let's do a bit of marking out. Okay, I've done a little test off camera. I've struck these two lines using that thing. This one's at 30 mils, this one's at 15. The reason I did 15 is because for this style, these are the two styles, diagonal one and a kind of sweeping one. For the sweeping one, I took the compass, put it on this line, set it to 15, and then I did one curve sweeping in that way and the other curve that sweeps in to bring it down to the 30 mil line. But I don't like it. I just think it's, I don't know, too flat, too abrupt. Weirdly, I think it's too kind of 90 degrees, even though it's actually two curves and there is no straight line in there. I much prefer this 45 degree kind of entry into the cutout, albeit I think I haven't smoothed out these, haven't done enough of a curve on the edge of these. So I'm going to just try again to do a 45 degree, but I'll put a bit more of a curve on it. Okay, so I think that's the shape I want, sweeping in there, sweeping out there, mostly with a 45 degree in the middle. So I think the plan, I will cut a little bit close to the line with the jigsaw, and then I think I'm going to use the router table with a fence to try and get this all nice and straight, because obviously if I were to use a table saw and run it on the fence, the blade's going to enter, the blade's curved and it's going to enter there, so I'm not going to be able to get a nice straight up and down line here. So I'm going to use a straight cutter on the router with a fence to try and get that as close and perfect on the line as possible. And then for these, I've invested in one of these Triton spindle sander things, so I'll give that a go. Okay, I've gone as close to the line as I dare with the jigsaw, and the reason I say dare is because of things like this, like if you see on the back end. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally cut somewhere too close to the line. I'd rather spend more time on the sander and the router. So next step is to route this straight edge along here, but obviously make sure I stop short of where this curve begins. Just before I start the routing, another recent purchase, I bought myself one of these Posh compression bits. So this is 8mm shank, and this is it's an up and down spiral solid carbide bit. Got a bearing at the top, but it's also got a nice long surface here. Yeah, 35mm of cutting surface there. So I'm going to use that. All right, that's come out okay. I managed to route pretty close to the line there, and then done a good job there. I can feel some very tiny, almost imperceptible bumps, but that's if I flip it over. It's easier to see how it looks. Looks pretty good. I think that'll do for my half template or my template for a template. So what I'm going to do now is mark out some, I want to mark out how much space that takes up, mark out some distances for if I were to flip it, so I can use them as center lines. All right, there we go. So I've marked a line where the curve starts and ends. So this total section is 46 mils. So obviously there'll be one at each end. So double it, you get 92 mils. Hopefully my maths is right. And then I've marked out a couple of distances from this line where the curve finishes. So I've got one at 45 mils, which obviously if you double it will be 90 mils. And then if you add on double the 46, you get 182 for a total overall cutout. Another one at 90, although I'm not sure I'm going to use that, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I think next I just need to chop this a bit shorter so it's smaller, drill a couple of holes in it so I can fix it down onto the real template that I'm going to make, and then make a real template. Even though I have a perfectly sized scrap of the same MDF left over, I'm deliberately going to use plywood for the actual template, and the reason is for the actual template I'm going to fix a fence on to the edge so that when I'm putting it on a piece it's easy to locate, and fixing into the edge of plywood is a lot nicer than fixing into the edge of MDF. For this I'm not going to bother with the fence because I'm just going to sort of fix it down, tape it down when I'm using it. But for the actual real ones, because I want templates to be quick and easy to use, I want to be able to just go chunk chunk, put it on the edge, screw it down or tape it down or whatever. So yeah, using plywood for the real thing. So I'm just going to mark out a center line. I mean, that center line on the edge is going to get erased when I actually make it, but I'll put it back afterwards. I just want to make sure I've got it on both sides. The reason I'm marking out the shape is because obviously I need to use a jigsaw to remove it. All right, well, I am pretty happy with how that turned out. I might just use these screw holes to make, holes for fixing this one down. I'm just going to pop that center line back on, but yeah, that has turned out really well. Very happy. This is too big to mark the center line because this bit needs to run along the front and it can't because of the curve. Fortunately, this little Veritas job will come in handy. There we go, center line back on. Now I'm just going to drill out these screw holes and add a fence. Originally, I'm going to fix this on with screws. Well, first of all, I'm going to chop this into two bits, so one at each end. I'm going to fix it on with screws. I put a line halfway, then I realised I don't want that. What I want is a line 9mm inbound, because that's 18mm plywood that I've made the template out of, so I need the line to be halfway on the 18, so 9. So there you go, if you're making one, don't make that mistake. All done. It's a nice little template. It's got some holes for fixing. It's got a fence to line with the front. And now if I was making a drawer front, all I've got to do is strike a centre line, line it up on the centre line, and I'm ready to route. I'm very happy with that. I was a little bit worried about making this piece, getting it kind of perfect. I mean, I suppose if the fact that you're going to flip it means it never needs to be absolutely perfect, because you've always got a copy on each side, but I did want it to follow the line as much as possible. I have to say the Triton spindle sander made it a doddle to finesse it on the line. That was really good. I mean, I did switch to the 120 grit sandpaper instead of the 80 grit that comes with it, but yeah, so now I've got a template I can use to make more of these if I want to do these longer or shorter. But to be honest, that size, hang on a minute, let me grab the camera. This size will fit even the smallest. See, that will go just in between the pocket holes there. So yeah, even this size should do the vast majority of drawers. But if I did want to make a wider one, I've got the ability to do that with this. So yeah, nice little project. Very happy, and thanks for watching.